Today I'm getting to hang out with this beautiful 9912 GT3 RS. I really love these. There is no bad GT3 on the market. From the day they were created in 1999, I've loved every single generation that came out, from the 996 all the way to this .2, and I'm sure I'm gonna love the new one that's coming out equally, if not more. It is not just the .2, it's also the WEISSACH package, so it's got the extra carbon, it's got all the bells and whistles on it, and the interior is just brilliant. You have the WEISSACH stitching on the seats, and I just love the way they do that. They make it look so clean, and it is super clean. The interior is amazing. You got the green stitching to match the car. One of my favorite things on the GT3 RS, this was taken from the GT2. I love the swing. This is really a piece of art. I love how thin the piece of carbon, yet it's so strong, so amazing. Really cool to see Jeff put the GMG, and I just noticed that the weld here spells GMG, which I didn't pay attention to before. I'm gonna also show you, it's got a GMG Racing. Let me try and find it here. I don't know if I can get to it from the back, but I'll try and show you from here. It's a numbered cage. I don't know why there's a number. There's a serial number on it, and which is awesome. It's really cool. When you look at this car from far away, you think there's just a cut here, but it's not really just a cut. There's a lip over here, and you can see it. It's actually for the aero. It's not just for the air to come here and come out from here, but it actually is its own baby wing, let's say, over here, and that's really nice feature. And I love the radiators here, left and right. Beautiful car, really, but this car is so special because of the heritage and the history. Again, the RS badge, meaning Rennsport, lightweight, performance oriented, racetrack oriented. Racing heritage is engraved in the DNA of this car. It's just so performance oriented, but so mechanically involving. It's just so good, and things such as the PDK and the electric steering don't bother me as much, even though I will always miss the manual and I will always enjoy driving the manual. There's no doubt and no denying that these are much faster. But really, the way they've done them, the way they've done the PDK and the way they've done this revised, because this is a revised steering system even compared to the .1, it just drives so good. The way it bites from the front, the way it just, and even, I don't know what they did, they recalibrated the rear wheel steering to perform better than the .1, and I don't think I could feel one of these things making a big difference. But once you combine all these things together, the revised suspension, the revised rear wheel steering assist, the revised steering, amongst other components, all together they come out, and that you really do notice, because they're all working together. If it was just one or the other, it would have been a simple adjustment, but no, all of these things together really do make a difference. And it's because of this car that I'm really excited to see the new GT3 RS. Everyone's excited about the new GT3, which granted, and rightfully so, they should be. But I don't know why I'm just looking so far ahead. I'm looking at the GT3 RS because these cars, this badge, the RS badge, really stands for something. And it's apparent in every single model they make. I really love these cars. I know I say I love a lot because really it's overkill. I'm killing the word love, but honestly, that's the only word to describe these type of vehicles. And yeah, it's just a passion, and you do love them. You have to love them. We know that this car is phenomenal on the racetrack, can set amazing lap times. We also know that it's a great car to use on the road. But the main thing for me that makes this car really stand out is the reliability. I am a previous GT3 owner myself, and I've been driving these cars a very long time. I'm very sentimental when it comes to GT3s because they really are the babies of the racetrack. They belong on the racetrack, they're at home on the racetrack, and they really tell you, like, this car tells you, push me as hard as you can, whatever you can throw my way, I'm gonna take it, and I'm gonna not just take it, I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna be smiling in your face. This is the type of car. It's just gonna smile and laugh at you and tell you more, more, more. Is this all you've got? And it's really confidence inspiring. The ones that I've driven before this one did not have the Cup 2 Rs and did not have the steel brakes. The ones I drove had the ceramic brakes, but honestly, the steel brakes on this drive great. And for just a fun fact, I personally think, from my opinion, when you're driving on cold brakes, the steel brakes work way better than the ceramics. Ceramics need some time to heat up, and some ceramic brakes need more time than others to heat up. And yeah, these just work fantastic. These remind me of shark fins, or shark gills, should I say. And I love the fact that in some supercars or sports cars you have the main vent, which is an actual vent, and they leave out the little vents as like a display or show. In this car, the big vents and the little vents are all functional all the way down. Many cars do this, but some cars don't. They just work the main vent and then they use the rest for just visual and aesthetics. And in this car, everything is functional, which is really cool. The reason these cars are also very popular is because it is still a road car. No matter how much carbon fiber they're putting, the suspension, the brakes, whatever it is they're doing, it's still a road car. You can still go, bash lap times, set lap times, have some fun, have a blast, and then you can either drive home, trailer at home, whatever works for you. But most people do drive these things to and from the racetrack. The story is GT2 or GT3 for many people. Obviously GT2s are more limited, more powerful and all that. One thing I can never take away from the GT3 is the sound. The sound this beast makes, I adore it. It's not a V8, it's not a V10 or a V12, it's nothing crazy like that. It's still a 4.0 flat 6, but the sound that this thing makes when it revs so high, I mean, you're talking close to 9,000 RPM. This is insane. It's like a motorcycle engine. So I love it. Granted, obviously it's less torquey and less powerful than the GT2 RS, and with GT3s you have to keep the rev range a bit higher. In the GT2s, no matter where it is, you put your foot down, it's just monstrous power and torque. And because this car has been out there for 2 years, I'm not going to bore you with details like 520 horsepower, 346 torque. They say it does 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. I bet they can do it in probably 2.9 or something. And transmission, not much has changed. 7-speed dual clutch. So I mean, it's very subtle changes that they do, but they make all the difference, which is really cool. You just have to love them. You have to love them. Can you believe, looking at these, that this was inspired by the Beetle? I mean, obviously you can see it, all Porsches were, but still, I mean, from the first vision to where we are now, I mean, obviously this is 2019, and where we're going, like, I'm so anxious to see the new one. I wanted to have a look at the spy shots, better spy shots that they get on the Nürburgring, because these cars, this is where they're developed. They're developed on the Nürburgring. You have professional race car drivers that are driving these cars, the development cars, so hard all the time, consistently. And these are why these cars are so great, because they really are pushed through brutal circumstances, mud, rain, snow, dirt, whatever you want to call it. They really give these cars quite a beating before they put them into the production line. I'm a fan of having exposed carbon fiber. I know a lot of companies, especially this company, they love to paint their carbon fiber. They're not about the show off, they're about performance, which I appreciate, but I definitely love seeing this. I love seeing this. And if you notice in cars like these, it's not just like carbon fiber is one thing and it's one weave. No, it's many different weaves. For example, look at the weave here, how small it is, and look at the weave here, how much bigger this is compared to this. It's just so cool to see how they make it work all together. And I love these vents too. Everything here functional, beautiful, really beautiful piece of art. Of course, a lot of people are gonna freak out and say ceramics are way better than steel. Yes, but for someone who's gonna track the car really heavily under load, it's much more feasible. Race cars, even GT3 cars, they use steel brakes because you go through them, things can happen. And as we know, carbon ceramics are really expensive. Their performance is amazing, but you really don't want to bash on carbon ceramics too much if you're regularly tracking the car. Very important for the track, for the driver and for the passenger. 6-point harnesses for safety. And I like, for those of you that know me, you know, in any car, not just in Porsches and supercars and stuff, any car that you want to track, I love seeing a roll cage on it. I think that's the proper way to go, no matter what the car is. Again, back to the carbon details. It's so cool. The carbon side sill of the GT3 RS, carbon bucket seats. I don't know how long Porsche has been using Bose, but even from back when I was a kid, they had Bose in their 911s, so that's what you call loyalty. One thing I do miss in the old GT3 is the vents that were here weren't slits like this. These are really cool, but I loved seeing the carbon scoops from here, the 2 scoops to actually suck air towards the motor. And the magic moment for you guys to see the engine is now. Well, you can't really see it, and everyone who's a Porsche nut knows that, but it's you have to go under this and you will see the engine. And actually you think the engine is right here, it's not, it's over there, because they used to be back, all the way back, but now it's literally where this box is, so it doesn't hang too far back behind the rear axle. Okay, time to take her. One thing I love to do in all 911s that have sports exhaust, not just the GT cars, first thing I do, most important thing I do, is this and this, and maybe a little bit of that. It's such a nice wheel for a stock car and so simple. I always mention this, that I love simplicity on the steering wheel, and this is fantastic. It's not too complicated, very easy to use. One thing I would always do though, and I wish Porsche did, is move these, the indicators and these buttons away, because when you're moving pretty fast you can tap easily. So that's the only thing I have, but other than that, the interface they have is so easy to use, fantastic, and it's like the old system. Nothing really changed much. Not the really old system, but the previous generation system. And obviously these are your performance stuff. Over here you have the front lift system if you need it. Thankfully here, nice roads, we don't really need to use it. And again, to remind you where the cup holders are, it's got the WEISSACH RS badge, fire extinguisher. Let's get going. Okay, Jeff, so how long have you owned this .2?
A year and 2 months.
How are you liking it?
Absolutely love it.
The reason I love this car in particular is because I know it's being driven the way it's meant to be, and it, as any car enthusiast, they'd take their hats off to you for doing that. So just tell me quickly, what did you do to the car? I know it's mostly stock, but please explain the GMG upgrades that you've done.
Sure. So the GMG roll bar has been installed.
Yeah.
It has a full PPF, XL PPF. It has.
You can see it when you pay
you
attention,
can right
like
here.
when you see the line.
It has a GMG muffler delete on the rear, and it has the AP Racing calipers.
Okay, so the GMG exhaust, the one they have, it is nice. Do you know the diameter of the?
I do not.
What was I gonna say? Are they steel exhaust? Or
It's steel and titanium.
Steel and titanium. And is it all the way to the headers?
It's all the way to the front side mufflers.
Front side mufflers. It sounds great. And the reason you put these calipers, I know, because this car originally you got it, you still have the ceramic brakes, and it came with the ceramic brakes, which are, well, we all know they're a ridiculously expensive option. They're crazy.
Yes.
But they work amazing. So just for the people that don't know, when you go to a track and when you're tracking a car, it's much more economical, much more feasible to use steel brakes. What made you go with this brand, or is this just something you were recommended?
I have an experienced friend that recommended these brakes to me, and the calipers with the rotors, and
they come as a full set, or as a pair? Do you get them as a pair of rears and a pair of fronts?
Pair of rears and a pair of fronts and a full set. That's correct. And then they have the Fedoto's brake pads installed as well.
Yeah.
And the reason why I transitioned to the steel AP Racing calipers was because first and most importantly was that I was under the impression that it would give me more bite as I entered into turns, and I could go deeper into the turns and take time off of my lap times. What I would say from a more of a maybe a novice perspective, it gives you more confidence with regards to getting on the brakes later and harder than the carbon ceramics. However, we all know that the carbon ceramics perform equally as well, but it's almost a 50% mental thing for me personally.
Because what the carbon ceramics, the reason for the carbon ceramics being so expensive is because they're able to handle that high heat, and they actually work. The hotter they get, the better they work, you know. And that's what people worry about with steel, is the brake fade. But you mentioned that compared to, for example, a stock steel brake sets, these don't give you that much brake fade, which is awesome. I know, this is why I love it. But honestly, this is why it is. That's why I love it. That's the main reason I like it, because it's right next to my house. Lightweight door handles. I don't mind the lightweight door handles. A lot of people, yeah, of course. Yeah. A lot of people are like, oh, I love original door. I think it kind of spices it up. It's like a little,
I like it.
Yeah, it's like race car-ish kind of. Race cars don't even really have a door. They just have a piece of carbon.
That's fun. It was a very hot day when we ran it last, so it looks
they are really good.
they're outstanding,
and I can tell it's
grip.
Being driven even on the side.
Yeah.
You can tell that it's
adjusting the tire pressures all day long.
Look at that. These are practically right here.
Yep.
Practically slicks.
Yep.
It's like bubble gum.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, that's why I didn't want to go over there, because when they warm up, they pick up everything on the road.
It's all good.
This is awesome. But yeah, and anything else that you've done to the car other than the roll cage, the exhaust, and the brakes?
And then, of course, the Schroff 6-point harness, which, based on the way we're driving it and the tracks we're driving, that's a very important part.
I think even if
safety, but also it also keeps the driver in a good spot to stay concentrated.
Driver and whoever is riding shotgun with you. I mean, it's just safety, extra
Couldn't
safety.
agree more.
Yeah.
This one is certainly not a garage queen. So.
That's what I love about you, is the fact that you actually drive this car.
Yeah.
I mean,
I really don't take it out much other than to run it into the trailer and then onto the track.
Because you do have another 911, which is the
997.
997, and that's the one, the dot one, which is what you use.
Which is a wonderful car to drive because it's very analog. You can feel everything about it.
Yeah.
6-speed manual. Just love that car. The technology and the engineering and the performance from a intermediate driver, it's just amazing, and it just allows you to learn and grow with the car on track. That's why I do it, and every day is a new learning experience in this car. Yeah, I was hitting it hard.
Dude, you look like you've been hitting it hard. This is full slick right there.
Trying to keep in front of Scott Blaylock.
He's probably, if he watches this.
Yep.
Oh my God.
In a GT2, which was very hard to do.
I hope you've never had to use this, but obviously many people.
You keep those in for good luck. If you don't have it in, you're going to need it.
Yep. Was the roll cage install an intensive? Because I know many roll cages come differently. Is this a chromoly or steel, or do you have an idea what they?
I'm pretty sure it's a steel.
Steel.
I don't think it's an alloy at all. But
I mean, it looks good. It looks really good. Thing is, they always give us adjustable wings on every.
And I've never changed
and nobody,
I've
none of
left
us
it in the factory set.
None of us have. But wait, I know Chris changed.
He did.
Chris played with his setup a little bit, which is ambitious on a road non-race car. But these cars are just they're that good that you can mess around with them.
It is fair to say that he's a much more accomplished driver, so he can drive with a more aggressive wing.
Yes. Well, he's an experienced race car driver, so he must be familiar with something.
That's right.
I want to say this car is the dominant king of the middle ground, which means this car is the king of the cars which are perfect on a racetrack, but also perfect to drive on the road. Plus, the reliability aspect of these cars can't be denied. I mean, from when they were made, they can take absolutely whatever you throw at them. Many cars, you have either the car is a better track car or it's a better road car. The 50-50 middle ground, where it's as good of a road car as it is a race car, is very hard to find. And the reason this car is really, really special and really sought after is because of that 50-50 middle line. It's just as good as a road car as it is a race car, and that's what makes this car really, really special. You have a lot of cars out there that are phenomenal track cars, and they are track weapons, but they are more track cars. I'm not saying they're bad road cars, they're incredible road cars, but they're more track cars than road cars, and vice versa. You have some cars there that are incredible road cars, performance, sport, sound, and all that, but they're just not track cars. This is the perfect middle ground, and that's why this car is so appreciated and people respect and like it a lot. This is an article. These are one of the articles that I would look at, and this would always be in this type of color, and from then on my mind just registered this car with that color. So and it really is beautiful. you spend time behind the wheel of one of these beauties, two words in particular come to mind: precision and quality. Since its introduction, it's easy to understand why the GT3 has had an incredible racing career. After all, it does bear the name of the race series, Cup Grand Touring Cars, or GT3 in short, as the more familiar term. We all owe thanks to the 1973 911 Carrera RS, as that was Porsche's first high-performance model that paved the way to cars such as this. Fun fact about the 912 GT3 RS is that it produces more than double the downforce of the standard GT3. And even though the GT3 RS and GT2 RS produce the same amount of downforce at top speeds, the GT3 has proven more effective at lower speeds, which makes sense since the same amount of downforce is generated at top speed. The GT2's top speed is 211 miles an hour compared to the GT3's 193 miles an hour. I really hope Porsche will continue down the same path in the future with their GT models as they've done so in the past, maintaining the spark. Developing the range further with technology and performance is one thing, however the real magic is preserving the passion that made us fall in love with these kinds of cars in the first place. No wonder almost every single car on the Nürburgring is a GT3. But drive one of these things and you'll understand why. I've driven the ring, in the dry and in the rain, and my car of choice was, you guessed it, a GT3. An 972 GT3 to be exact. This brings me back to my point that all generations of the GT3 models have been incredibly successful, and I really hope they will continue to be so in the future. I'm really hopeful and optimistic about the future of Porsche's GT range, because so far they haven't disappointed. As always, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and till next time. The Cup 2Rs are literally slick tires, and it's not really hot right now, but it's not really cold, so the temperature is ideal. But man, do they grip like from a standstill when you launch it in manual mode with traction control and stability control off. It grips like crazy from the get-go, like it is glued from the back. These tires definitely make a big difference. There's a reason everywhere you go in the world, not just the Nürburgring. I know the Nürburgring is full of GT3 RSs, but this seems to be the track car of choice for people from beginners to the expert level. This satisfies everyone's needs.